Good afternoon. This is the July 26th meeting of the Police Station Building Committee. I see we have an agenda, so this meeting is called to order. Item number one, we have the minutes of July 12th, 2021. Any questions or comments?
Move we approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from July 12th, 2021. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted unanimously.
Mr. Pitney?
Yes. Kristen. Oh, I'm sorry, Kristen. Your vote, Kristen?
So we do have to do a roll call vote because I'm remote.
We have to do a roll call.
Apologize that I have to be remote today, but
That's
for
okay.
public meeting law, we do need to.
That's
a roll
right,
call
you are
vote.
correct. Kristen, you're up. How do you vote on the minutes?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, Keith?
Aye.
Chief?
Aye.
Justine?
Aye.
Mo?
Aye.
Myself? Aye.
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Donna? John?
Aye.
Unanimous. All right. Next up, we have some bills to pay. We have three items: Collier Project Leaders, $2,365; Davy Resource Group, $760; Graves Engineering Incorporated, $765, for a total of $3,890. Any questions on those invoices, concerns, problems?
Can I ask a question, not directly to this, but we had the structural steel peer review too, right?
No, so that was,
We didn't.
yeah, that question was asked to the building inspector, Patty Sheehan, and she had responded that it wasn't required because it was new construction, I believe. It was
Of the project type.
Yeah, because of the project building type. So no, we did
Really?
not.
Okay,
You good?
I'm good.
All right. Anything else? We have a motion?
Yeah, move we approve the invoices as listed on the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve three invoices totaling $3,890. Kristen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Keith?
Aye.
Chief?
Aye.
Justine?
Aye.
Mo?
Aye.
Myself? Aye. Joe?
Aye.
Donna?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Voted unanimously. Thank you, everybody. Next, we hear reports. First up is the owner's project manager.
So the only thing that I have is just to let you know that we have the plans, they were released on Wednesday, last Wednesday, for bidders and to Andrew T. Johnson's website. To date, we have 70-plus plan holders, and that's basically what we have. And then for a project update, Ryan can give a project update.
Very good. That's fine. Any questions around that? Fairly simple. So why don't we go right over to Ryan then? We'll go out of order here a little bit on the agenda. Ryan, you got a project update?
Okay, cool. So let's, I guess, just a big picture project update. Tree clearing started today. We expect that to run through the week. They're gonna be putting in erosion and sedimentation control, which the Conservation and Planning Board is gonna review the end of this week to make sure it's in line with the DEP requirements. From there, they're gonna go stump the site, bring it all to subgrade, get all the loam off the top, and start bringing in fill, which is part of the big import that we have to do. In the next about 8 weeks, we hope to see concrete starting, and then followed with our filed trade bidders doing underground work, masonry, and looking at steel for the end of the year. So everything's going forward. So that's just a general project update. Next, I have a whole pile of paper for you guys to look at. This was all previously sent last week. I'd just like to start with the procurement status report. I thought this might be a good idea to share with everybody, as it's just kind of a big picture overview as to where we are at with early package buyout and how that looks with our savings, and just in addition to where we ended up with a total value for the Amendment 1. So if you look at the list, we have the site work and utility with AFA Morello, which we'd previously discussed and you guys had approved, with a savings of $455,000. The concrete and the steel, which we're gonna go over the letters of recommendation here shortly. We have a little bit of a deficit of just about $24,000. We can go into that a little bit more, but that's with Marguerite Concrete and Structures SBL, which we'll be recommending shortly. Additionally, I just added in some scope holds and the general conditions and general requirements, which are going to get us to the Amendment 1 value, and I can explain how we created those value, or got to those values additionally as we get into here. So I just kind of wanted to give that to everybody as an overrun to see where we are on the budget as a whole. And the budgeted values were based on our 75% DD values for this budget value for the site work, and then cast in place concrete and structural steel were the reconciled 90% budget that we went over the other week before we got approval to go out to file trade bid. So moving on from there, we have a letter of recommendation first for the structural steel package. We solicited 15 different companies for bid of this package. We only received 2. As you see, we have Proposed Structures SBL. They have a $600 saving from the project budget for the 90% DD, both Fontaine internally and with the design and construction group. Did D-scopes, and that value is that information is all broken out in the Structures SBL quote, and then our scope of worksheet. This scope is also going to include the metal decking letter of recommendation that you guys previously approved. What we're going to do is we're going to assign that PO for the metal deck to Structures SBL, and then they will then acquire the material through the rest of the process, but using the PO that we previously signed with Can-Am. So it's complete package, furnish and install, all metal that's essentially connected to the building. Anybody has any questions on structural steel, I guess now could be a time to ask.
The only question I have, so you only have 2 bids?
Yeah, 2 bidders.
Is that gonna meet the requirements under the bidding, state bidding? Do you need a minimum of 3 to return, or?
So this was not part of a public Chapter 149 bid process.
Okay,
Yeah.
So it's not subject to those same
Okay.
requirements. Although they did solicit like 16 bids or
Yeah,
something
we
like that.
solicited 15 and.
but where
and
you only received 2 back?
we only received 2 bids, and that's after, we went out to not only our typical vendors, but our typical fabricators, but, everyone within New England and really North America. Structures SBL is out of Quebec, actually. We used to get a lot of our steel fabricated out of Canada. And there's just, with the current market and how busy everybody is, it's tough to get a lot of interest in projects just across the board, so.
Good question, Joe. Anything else on the steel? No? All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Ryan.
I'm sorry, I do have
Oh,
a
sure,
question.
Chief.
Do we have the other bid?
Yeah, so that's on page 3. You can see the bid value there, how it relates to the other one. If anybody has any concerns about that, I'd be happy to discuss it with them after, just monetarily wise.
Because it's not a public bidding process, I think we're just gonna focus on the bid that we have
Okay.
right now.
But as I said, both Fontaine internally and with the project design team and OPM, both de-scoped Structures SBL, and we felt that they were whole in their scope. They weren't missing half the structure or anything along those lines. So,
Okay.
Okay, Ryan. I think we're good on steel.
all right, so going to the next packet, we have a letter of recommendation for concrete. This package, we'd like to award to Marguerite Concrete. Obviously, you see their proposal value there and a project deficit on the budget from the 95%, or 90% CD estimate. We attribute that just to some additional design clarification that had to happen from 90s to 100s, just about some site concrete with those planters and just how it works with that lower area. Obviously, we have some design contingencies and escalation built into our budget, so we feel like this is, that you never want to see red on a page, but it is, within our capabilities to keep the project as a whole on budget, even with this deficit. We did solicit 5 different companies. We received 3 quotes as with the Structural steel, all three quotes are broken out onto that third page. Same process, we did a internal review with Marguerite within Fontaine, and then also brought them to a D-scope with the design team and OPM. We feel they're complete in their scope. This scope is not only for the structure concrete for your foundations, but also all the site concrete, so your sidewalks, those planters, everything within that scope. So if it's concrete, pretty much inclusively, it's gonna be by Marguerite.
All the precast, everything.
So the precast on the building would be by the mason,
Okay.
but that is clearly denoted in the plan,
Okay,
so that's
all right.
not something that would be a question.
Okay. Questions? Keith?
Not a question, but Marguerite is the contractor at the Beal site. And I'm very pleased with a lot of their finishes, especially their sidewalks and floors and stuff like that.
Excellent, thank you. Donna?
While we're on concrete, I'm noticing in this picture that it's concrete across where the plantings are. And although it looks nice, the one in the book has brick.
So the one in
And
the book,
across the town hall has brick,
the
so.
one in the book is an older version. I didn't have the latest PDF, but I wanted to present a nicer looking.
So will there be brick on this
No,
concrete?
It will be concrete.
That's,
The sign rendering is the latest rendering that we have.
This one.
and so, is there a big cost savings by not putting the brick on that?
It would be likely more expensive because you would need to have some sort of concrete backer behind the brick. So if you just go concrete, then you'd be saving.
It's finished.
It's finished, yeah, you're not adding another layer of, because you'd likely not even, it'd still have to be whole brick, so you couldn't even do like a veneer type.
I
on it.
think both ways it looks nice. I was just curious
Yeah,
if
Yeah.
that was an oversight or if that was a
no,
change.
this is just an older rendering,
Okay.
so,
Anything else?
Good eye.
Concrete?
yeah, I didn't pick up on that, so.
I didn't either.
Don't try to
catch,
slide
Donna.
anything by her.
Never.
Anything else concrete? No? Okay, Ryan?
Yeah, just one last clarification with both Marguerite and Structures SBLs. This is, as Keith said, we used Marguerite at Beal, and Structures SBL we've used on several projects in the past couple of years with good success. So they're both, preferred contractors for, or subcontractors for Fontaine. So the last part is gonna be the Amendment 1 scope holds and general conditions and general requirements. So if you go to section 4, which is about halfway through this pile of paper in the Amendment 1, it's a table, and it breaks out all of the scope, all of the spec sections within the project. And in that, all the way at the top, you'll see our general requirements, which are associated to FBI as the bidder. And at the bottom of that, which is 2 pages later, you'll see, or 3 pages later, you will see, 4 pages later, I'm sorry. You'll see general conditions and general requirements. So all of this, all the value there is essentially what it's going to take Fontaine's to oversee and do the work to get us to a GMP value. So like as you see, it's noted in the 4th page in the general conditions, like our Form D, which is from our proposal, which has all of our fee, our cost of work for, the superintendent, myself, to be involved in this project for the first 4 months until we get to the GMP. It's broken out, it's either prorated for the 4 months of the total duration, or there's certain items like our builder's risk and insurances, where we need to bill that all up front because insurance companies won't do a quote for, or let us bill for 4 months and bill for the rest of it. We gotta bill it all up front. So the easiest way to think of our general conditions and general requirements would be the first 4 months to get us to GMP, the value of that work. And that's something that we had previously shared with both CMS and Tecton.
Sure.
just the
So Ryan, just for clarification, because when I took a first glance at this and I saw those numbers
Yep.
in amendment number one, it looked like they were additional monies.
No.
That we would be spending. So these were all within our estimates.
Yeah, all within the estimates or prorated parts of our fee or general conditions that were part of our proposal when we initially bid the
Okay.
project.
All right.
So the general, the fee, the general conditions, and the general requirements were all in their bid that they gave us, or their proposal. And what they're doing is they're just prorating it out so that they can pay themselves to get us from right now until the GMP comes out. So they're just taking a portion of the money that they already told us and we already agreed upon.
Okay.
And they're just pulling a piece of it out so they can pay themselves to get through this next couple of months.
Okay.
So it's not anything in addition to what they sent us
Alright.
before. This is just the way it works so that they can pay themselves. 'Cause we're
And
on
this
that-
is typical for this type of project?
This is very typical for, if you want to do early works packages, it's very typical. So in order for us to execute these contracts with the concrete, steel, and the site contractor, they need to put presence on site. So they need to pull a piece of that money back and execute it now, but because the GMP isn't in place, they don't have a billing method yet.
Okay,
Hence why Amendment 1 is here.
okay. So then I would assume sometime in September, October, that time frame, we'll be getting invoices for that early work being done? Is that how it will work, so that they can be paid?
We'll probably have one at the next meeting.
Yeah, so you'll have one at that September 9th meeting
Okay.
for all of the work and a portion of the general conditions and general requirements
Okay.
over that duration.
All right. Looking forward to it. Any other questions?
Yeah,
Yep, Mo?
just to follow up. So when we get the final bids in, the complete package, September, whenever, then we go to a guaranteed maximum price at that point?
Yep.
So
yeah.
is that another amendment?
Yeah, it'll be a
Same-
packet just like this.
Just like this?
But all of the columns or rows will be filled in with bidders
Oh,
or
the
packages.
unassigned row.
All the unassigned will be filled in and will hopefully, fingers crossed, be underneath that 29,950.
So when the GMP is executed, Amendment 1 basically becomes null and void. It's all rolled into the GMP.
Okay.
It's just they need a source right now to fund the in-between.
Okay.
I think most of us are new to the CM at risk, so
Yeah.
Yeah,
get a little confused.
it looks like they're marking it up. Like that's, if you looked at it and you're used to typical Chapter 149 construction, you're just like, oh, they're marking this up, which isn't the case. That's not the way it works with Chapter 149A. It's just they're pulling their money, which we already agreed upon, and they're prorating it out, that's all.
It's like a draw.
They're drawn,
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
it's a draw.
Got it. Questions? Nobody. All right, thanks, Ryan. Good
One
explanation.
one
Yep.
other thing. I had the scope holds, which are on page 5, that last page of the summary of cost. We just had values that, portions of what were held in our previous 90% reconciled budget to get any costs associated from design clarifications from 90% to 100% contract documents. So that's where that $135,000 comes in. So if there are cost considerations there, we will review them as a group, find an agreeable number to which that additional monies needs to be spent for those packages because of clarifications that occurred in the design process. And then if not, it'll just get moved back into a CM contingency bucket. So that's just one clarification of that process and part of the cost of doing the 149A work where you have early packages that aren't completely developed.
So because the CM contingency isn't developed yet, this is basically like entering a CM contingency in for Fontaine so that they can execute the change orders that they may need with the site contractor, let's say, that took them from the 75% design to the 100, because things changed.
Yep.
So, let's just say Matt designed a nice grassy knoll out front or something like that, which they didn't carry. that $135,000 would allow them to hedge the difference until the CM contingency becomes part of the GMP. The main difference between chapter 149A and chapter 149 is a lot of the minor change orders between the subs is handled internally through the CM contingency. We know about it, and we don't have to go and execute different things unless we're changing scope, which then comes out of the owner's contingency.
Okay. So this is almost like money then it's being held in escrow in case there are any unforeseen costs down the road, is that?
Yes. We know that there's scope creep
Yeah.
between 75 and 100.
Okay.
So they already know that there's certain pieces that they
Yeah.
already need to execute
Right.
with the different subs, and that just puts something in place that they can use,
Okay, so the money's there, but it's not yet spent? Right?
pretty much.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Okay. I try and simplify things as much as I can for my own brain. Alright. Anything else? Any other questions? Okay. Anything else, Ryan?
That's all I had.
Okay. Matt? Anything for us besides the lovely posters?
Yeah, I have not much. So like Kevin had mentioned, the bid documents were issued and published live Wednesday of last week at 1 PM. We anticipate, if there's a need, that Addenda 1 will be issued at noon this Friday, the 30th, to capture any changes to the documents that are needed between now and then. We continue our QA/QC in office until bidding is closed, just in case, there's anything that was missed. We like to keep on top of that, so if we have to make any quick changes or clarifications, we'll do that. And then we also have bidders submitting RFIs directly to Tecton that we will distribute to our consultants, to the CM or to the town as they need be for additional clarifications. As of today, just now, we've received one RFI, which is one that we receive on every project from an electrician, just confirming that we're going to comply with the law on our bids, which we are. So we will respond to that RFI accordingly. Anybody who's been through public bidding in the past 5 years knows that RFI. So no surprises there. But we have gotten good interest, and there are, as Kevin pointed out, quite a bit of plan holders that have taken a look at it. So the word is out, which is good. And we will continue to monitor the process, but as of now, our bid date of August 11th is still holding, and we have no reason to push it at this time, so we'll continue to track that as we go forward. And then the only other piece we have today is the draft project site sign that'll be installed through the duration of construction. Just informing the public of what's happening behind the fence once that gets installed. So this is for your review and comment. So I know it wasn't an action item on your agenda, but we did put it together late last week and brought it to you today. To get your opinions, and we can publish this as is, or we can make modifications, changes, whatever you'd like to see. No one on the committee's name is reviewable by spell check, just so you know. So, review, let me know, make sure I double check your names, make sure I got them right on there. Other than that, let me know if there's any other changes you'd like to see. If there are none, we can get this out and published immediately. Otherwise, I can make changes tomorrow.
Donna?
I just have a question. I think this must have taken place before I came to the committee. I like the top of this building compared to what's on this book. I think it looks much nicer. Is that, do people have access to those windows?
The cupola, yeah, it's actually open to the Detectives Bureau.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so they have a large sort of presentation wall, almost like an open conferencing space in their area. And it will be open to the cupola, and we also have that illuminated at night. And so there's controllable LEDs on there too. So like during certain times of the year, like Breast Cancer Awareness Month, things like that, you can actually change the color of those LEDs. So the cupola can glow different colors at night.
Nice.
Yep.
It'd be like the bridge.
Yeah.
Change it.
Just for like reference, it would be, they're above your head. You can't walk
So
up
it's
to
a
them and look.
skylight. It's a
Yes.
skylight.
It's 20-something feet high. in the space. Yeah, it's way up there. So it's a long ladder, but it is accessible,
Well,
yes.
I think it looks so much nicer than fence. I just happen to.
We try to do better every time we do a rendition of these. As this
Wanted
committee
to
is
make
well
sure
aware.
That's what we were getting.
One thing that was noted, when we put this out on the street is, actually, I think when I looked at Andrew T. Johnson today, it's us and one other public project, which means we're going to get very competitive numbers, or would indicate we're gonna get competitive numbers, because if there's nothing else out there, you gotta keep, the coffers full. I talked to an HVAC company today and said, other than this job, there was one job in Springfield that has a much lower, prevailing wage rate. So he's like, I would imagine you're gonna see very competitive numbers on your project.
So on their website right now, this is, Andrew T. Johnson's one of the larger print houses out of Boston, and they have a fire station that's rebidding a portion of their work, and then two other bids that have recently closed. One was a roof deck replacement, and one is a maintenance garage that have closed, and we're the only active job that they have listed right now.
But to give you an idea, one of them's a deck project, and the other one is a cemetery administration office, maintenance garage. And then, looks like Woburn has.
They're rebidding the HVAC.
Yeah, so we're the only sizable project on there. So,
Anybody that's looking for work should be.
any of the big players who, are the heavy hitters in this market, they're all gonna go after it.
So public bidding is slowing up?
That's what it looks like.
It's been slow for a few months.
Really?
There, a lot of municipalities sort of,
Hit?
they sort of put a lot of projects on pause, with the uncertainty in the market. And it was, I think, hopefully it'll prove to be an advantageous move to move forward with this because of that lack of, competition on the owner side at this moment.
I mean, to give you an idea, SBL put a clause in their bid that says you have 10 days to execute this, or a bid is no longer good. So, good thing we're meeting today, because I think 10 days ends like tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah, middle of this week.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it just shows you some of the volatility in the
Yeah.
market.
But there was an elementary school in Orange that just recently went to bid, and those filed sub-bids came in under budget, so I think there's no reason to think that our budget's
What I
at
like to
risk with
hear.
that.
Yeah. The good thing is you guys are close enough to Boston that you attract not only the Western Mass bidders,
Yep.
but you attract the Boston bidders too. And if there's not enough out there, the Boston guys are gonna wanna come here versus Springfield.
Right.
So, it's good.
Good
In our
news,
opinion,
yeah.
it should be good.
Yeah.
So, we'll see.
See you on the 11th.
Looking forward to it, yeah. Any other questions back to the rendering? Any questions or comments? Everybody good with?
That looks
Yeah.
great.
I think it looks great too.
Good job.
All the names are correct from what I can see?
Oh, good.
Nobody, forgive me for not knowing, but nobody's a doctor or has any sort of thing that needs to go after their name or lawyer.
It's nice there's no rain clouds in that photo.
Well, give it a little bit, the one will come in.
Nice change, yeah.
Do you want the town seal larger? You'd mentioned that.
If you could do it, I think it should be a little bit larger.
Sure.
You know, it's center the
But if you
Shrewsbury
can't-
Police
You did that,
Station,
you put it
and then
there.
put it on the opposite side of the police seal, maybe?
What do you think about that, Mo?
Yeah, center it and put it in there, yeah.
Up
Put up
there,
on
you
the
mean?
top left?
Be neat.
Yeah, in the top
Center
left.
the police station and put, yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be good.
Take these people off.
It's a nice building, I wonder who designed it.
All right, very good. All right, that brings us to item 5. We have to review and act to authorize the town manager to sign the steel bid package. Any other questions around that? No? Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second to authorize the town manager to sign the steel bid package. All those in favor? Kristen?
Yes.
Keith?
Yes.
Chief?
Yes.
Justine?
Yes.
Mo?
Yes.
Myself, aye.
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Donna? John?
Aye.
Very good. Thank you, everybody. That was easy. Item number 6, review and act to authorize the town manager to sign the concrete bid package.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to authorize the town manager to sign the concrete bid package. All those in favor? Kristen?
Aye.
Keith?
Yes.
Chief?
Yes.
Justine?
Yes.
Mo?
Yes.
Myself, aye. Joe?
Aye.
Donna? John? Aye. Very good, thank you, everybody. And then, item number 7, the biggie. Review and act to authorize Fontaine Brothers Incorporated Amendment Number 1.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to authorize Fontaine Brothers Amendment Number 1. All those in favor? Kristen?
Aye.
Keith?
Yes.
Chief?
Yes.
Justine?
Aye.
Mo?
Yes.
Myself, aye.
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Donna, aye. John? Aye. Very good, thank you. Feel like Jim Kane again.
Really?
And that brings to item number 8, other business. The one item we have is we need to talk about a groundbreaking ceremony. Kristen, you want to take the lead on this one?
Sure, I know we had this as a topic of conversation at our committee meetings probably back in May or June. And Fontaine said that it would probably be best to have the groundbreaking once the site was cleared and they were doing a little bit more site work. With fall coming up and school schedules back in session, I really wanted to get a date in mind, especially so we can invite our elected officials and whatnot and get a great turnout from the community. So Ryan, I wondered if you could give us a sense of what might be a good date from a construction standpoint, and we can get our wheels in motion. Alex and I from the town manager's office can start pulling this together for the committee to make sure that it's a wonderful groundbreaking ceremony for the police station.
Yeah, so I'd suggest really any time from August 30th, that last half week of August, through like the 15th of September. As we get later, they'll be getting closer to foundations, so there'll be a little bit more obvious groundbreaking at that point. But I'd say it's with Labor Day, it's kind of tough because I know people have, some people have vacations, who no longer have kids in school around that time. But either side of Labor Day or that following week, if the group feels that, after the Labor Day weeks would be better. So either of those 2 weeks or like the 13th or the 14th, I think would be a good possibility.
13th to the 14th. Anybody have any preferences?
13th's on Friday, right?
Now, the 13th I have is a Monday.
Yeah, it's a Monday.
Just want to be sure.
Friday the 13th was 2 weeks ago.
Any preferences? Monday, Tuesday?
What about Friday, the 10th? Or do you want to do it on a Monday or Tuesday before?
Does anyone have any conflicts? I guess we'll put it that way, because we would
Right.
like to reach out to Rep.
Do
Kane,
not.
Senator Moore, and Lieutenant Governor to see if their schedules align. So does anyone have any conflicts on days that would absolutely not work?
The only thing I was thinking, I don't know if it's logistically possible, but the 15th, if the farmer's market is still going on, there are more people around, and it would possibly draw,
We do that. Don't we usually do the groundbreakings in the morning?
I don't know. This is my first one.
Yeah, generally they're first thing in the
First
morning.
Okay, all right, never mind then. Then I'm open any of those days.
You're more than welcome to break tradition.
Just try to draw a little attention to it, that's all.
What days are those?
That 13th and 14th are a Monday and a Tuesday. Or we go as to Keith's suggestion, the 10th.
13th I can't do.
Okay, 13th is out. We need the chief there.
Typically, you gotta give 3 dates to public officials. Just saying, what typically happens,
Elected or non-elected?
doesn't matter.
Okay.
How about the 10th, the 14th, and the 15th? That gives you 3.
Any conflicts on those days for anybody?
Not for me, I'm good.
I'm
That looks
with
good.
that. Okay, Kristen, Alex? The 10th, the 14th, the 15th?
We'll shop those dates around, and if we can just get permission from the committee tonight, if we need to go on a 4th date, is that just shop that around via email individually or calls individually?
Sure. I'm okay with that. Anybody else have a problem with that? No? Okay, very good.
To this next Tuesday, do you need or want any of us to come to the station for support, or
You're all welcome to join, absolutely.
Oh, groundbreaking?
No, next Tuesday,
his, the
National Night Out.
national night out?
Everybody's welcome.
Very good. All right, so we're good on that. Anything else under other business? Anybody have anything? No, all right. Meeting schedule, we're still on for September 8th for our next meeting. Any other needs that you see right now, guys? No? Okay, very good. Anybody have anything else? We
I
have
just
a
want to
motion?
thank these guys for putting together, this is a really concise, organized way to put together a lot of complicated information, and I just want to say I appreciate
It is,
that.
yeah.
It usually looks nicer, usually we'd have a more up-to-date rendering, but the lady who does the marketing and all this stuff is on maternity leave, so I had to do it myself.
Wait till
Good
amendment
job,
number
Joe.
2, it'll look, it'll be perfect, right? You can perfect it by
Just
then.
give us a new page next month, that's all.
Yeah, I'll get you
You
the
know,
latest
you know,
rendering.
Brian, though, it is kind of nice to see where we were and where we
Yeah,
ended
that's
up. And
another
to see
idea.
how it evolved. And I know
Yeah.
that was, who knows how many iterations back.
Yeah,
That was probably March.
It's a process.
it's come a long way. Yeah,
So, I mean, this is really what, to some extent, what you buy when you get that CM, right? They come with a lot of great information, so you can see it, it's all upfront, very transparent.
yep.
So if you've ever done another project before and you felt like it was not that way, you're getting a taste for what it feels like now.
Feels good so far.
Feels good.
Do we have a motion to adjourn, or you want to hang around for a while? Motion? Second. And a second. All those in favor, Kristen?
Aye.
Keith?
Aye.
Chief?
Yes.
Justine?
Aye.
Mo? Myself, aye. Joe? Donna?
Aye.
John? Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Brian, when will the fence go up around the whole site?